Hey, let's cover a few safety features and operating procedures for this King Canada 16 speed drill press right off the bat before we get up to it. Hey, we don't have it mounted to the floor, but we do have this big steel plate. It's pretty thick. We got the holes drilled, they're tapped out, they're ready to go. Should get that done in the next couple days. That way there's no chance of it tipping over. 16 speed, well, open lid. That's the different speeds that a person could change the belts around. Of course, when the machine is running, this has to be closed. And we'll just snap that in place. All right, good to go. When you are going to be operating it, you have the on and off switch. When you turn anything on, you should be able to know how to turn it off. This is pretty straightforward. If we need to change out a bit, we'll lift up our safety shield, and this slides up and down when it's moving up and down. We'll just get that out of the way. And to loosen off our chuck, we need our key. We have our key taped to our cord, so we'll pull that out. There's the tool, and then insert it into one of the holes, and lift her up. There we go, got her loose. Now I'm going to loosen it up all the way. There, we get that bit out of there. Take a little look. There we go. You can see this bit has been, let's get focused, has been turned before. It's been slipping in a chuck at one point or another. That's just, guys, we're not tightening the chuck well enough. Caught into pretty decent piece of steel and it started slipping. So we don't really need it. Some drill bits are going to actually have 3 grooves on here, and that'll actually grab really well into a chuck. They still have to be tightened though. So let's see if we get this in hand. There we go. We'll tighten that up a little bit so it doesn't fall on the ground. There we go. And now to tighten it properly, I'll start with there. Tighten that up a little bit in one hole. We'll go to the next one, and you'll see we can actually even tighten it even more. And to go to the very last one, there, even tightens more. The reason they have 3 holes in a chuck is not so that the one's always facing you. It's actually so you can tighten it up a little bit more. And you'll always find that your bit won't slip as easy if you go to all 3 holes and tighten her up really well. All right, I'll plug her back in. Give it a test. Good to go. When we're drilling, we need to keep the shield down. That extends even further. That way, when we're turning our handles, everything is going down, and it'll keep any of the cuttings away from us. Usually we're pretty safe, but this is a little extra safety for us. Speaking of safety, if we're going to be drilling into any steel, we have our nice little vise here. It slides back and forth, but it won't turn very far. That way, the sliding is just so you can position your metal and drill exactly where you want. When you're going to be drilling, you want to keep this centered up. On this vise, it's obviously been to the side and holes were drilled right through it. That's one of the reasons why we have a cheaper vise on here. But it is bolted down in 2 places, but we do have it so it can move, just so you can find all the locations. If you have it bolted down tight, when you're going from, say, a 1/2 inch piece wide, all of a sudden to 4 inches wide, well, you got to move things around. All right, next thing is sometimes we'll have something that's really high, so we have to loosen off the clamp. And this is for our height adjustment. So if we turn this lever here, as you can see, it's starting to go up. And if we need to, well, we could lower it quite a ways. After we have everything positioned, I'm going to re-tighten this, and that'll help it from flopping around. And we also got it pretty centered with the bit, centered up with the hole. That way, if we did drill a really deep hole, it won't be damaging the machine, it'll just be going through it. One other part that sometimes guys forget about is right here. This part can be tightened up to prevent it from turning, and We also have this other degree here. So if you want to do angle holes for some reason, or if it's an odd piece of steel, then you could change the degrees. But most of the time you want this pretty close to 0, because otherwise you're going to have some crooked holes and nothing's going to line up. Over here we have our pump sprayer. I'll take that out of there. Give it a few pumps. And then we should be able to spray. So if we're cutting anything, if it's getting hot, usually the bits need a little bit of fluid on there of some sort. So we just spray it on the piece of steel, and then we're going to be good. Usually I keep soap and water in here. And usually there's a lot of soap. So please don't go spraying this. This is not a toy by any means. A lot of people think it's kind of funny to go spray somebody else, but if you get soap in somebody else's eye, or if there's a lot of soap on the floor, it could be dangerous. So please don't even consider doing that in the shop. All right, that should conclude our drill press safety and operations video.